Now, a word about animals on the Mark Thompson Show.
I mean, I like animals, you like animals, and we are animals after all. How about Karen Dawn? Look at you, Karen Dawn. How are you?
It's so good to be back with you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's nice to have you back. Tell me about, what happens is Karen says, I'm going to touch on these various stories. And when I saw cats mentioned in your list, I think cats get a bad rap. I love cats. And we have cats. I also love dogs. Don't get me wrong. But I always feel like cats get a, bum rap. People go, I'm a dog person. I'm not a cat person. And there's more hate for some reason about cats. And I think they're the most lovable, wondrous creatures. So tell me the latest news out of the cat world.
Well, with that lead in, I'm thinking you may not love an article in the New Yorker this week. It's January 1st to 8th issue. So today's the last day it's supposed to be on stands. By Jonathan Franzen, a beautiful writer who won the National Book Award for the corrections. And he's written an article, The Cats of LA, and it looks at the problem of the cat overpopulation situation as it relates to outdoor cats. He looks at the trap, neuter, and release efforts, and Jonathan Franzen's a bird person. So he's not so much a cat person, but what I love about the article is that he follows a couple of women around who do trap, neuter, and release, who clearly love cats. It's not an anti-cat article. It's just looking at a real issue here. And, in our movement, Mark, in the animal rights movement, they call cats the third rail because nobody wants to talk about this. The fact that cats are obligate carnivores, which can make having them problematic for animal rights people, but particularly means letting them roam outside does cause problems. And I loved the article. Now, I'm unusual in that I'm not a cat person or a dog person. I have dogs, and it is because of that obligate carnivore cats reason. I really love cats. But I do think we have a real issue with letting them roam. They kill millions of birds per year. And if you also love birds and you also love wildlife, then you have an issue. And
this is the point, though. I don't mean to cut you off, but I do want to. When you say so, when we open, we let them out, we have issues. That's the issue, that they're killing a lot of birds. I just want to make sure that everybody is following.
Yes. Well, some people are worried that they're going to get killed as well. Cats get killed when we let them out. I personally think, you have to think about quality of life, and I don't see a lot of dead cats by the side of the road. So I think it's less of a quality. I think them getting killed is less of a worry. They kill a lot of birds and other small animals, some of whom some people are happy to see killed and others not so much. But generally the solution that people explore is trap, neuter, and release. These people they trap these cats, they spay or neuter them, and they call it neuter, and I'll talk about that in a moment. That spay is actually far more important. And then they release them back where they found them, because they say if they remove them, other cats will just come in. And they say that if they look after the colonies this way, it keeps the numbers under control. And Franzen argues that it's not really keeping the numbers under control, and we're having a real problem with birds being killed by the millions upon millions upon millions, and to the point of some songbird species looking at possibly going extinct, and that's thanks to cats. So that's what the article's about. And he suggests...
Well, that's kind of a big deal. Well, I wouldn't skip over that last part. You're telling me that there are songbirds that are going extinct because of cats? Or are you saying that that's what the article says? Or are you saying that there's disagreement about that? Says, okay, so we don't... Is that the case or not?
Well, I can't imagine that the New Yorker, and it's not saying only because of cats, but cats are one of the largest killers of songbirds in civilized societies. So another one is uh, windows. They slam into windows, and that's why it's very important to think about that when skyscrapers are being built. But cats are absolutely a major contributor to songbird extinction. So that's what the article contends, and certainly some passionate cat people would say they would question the numbers. But I think rather than pretend it's not happening, most people know that, cats are carnivores and at least half of cats like to kill birds. I think
I
we
will
need,
also just say this. I mean, the bird community has essentially been ravaged by illness, by disease. You can Google it. So I don't mean to argue it, and I know that I'm a cat person, so maybe I am lawyering a little bit for cats. But yes, while I agree that they represent a threat to these birds. But that said, there are other threats to the bird population. You've mentioned one of them, the glass on high rises and on buildings just generally, and disease. I mean, just look at the avian virus that's just ravaging continents full of birds. So anyway, please continue.
you indeed sound like a cat person, not a cat and bird person. Because that is generally, no, the numbers aren't true. And I think it's more useful to acknowledge there's a real problem here and look at how we can deal with it without killing the cats and without letting them roam free and kill the birds to their heart's content. Now, Franzen suggests that if one thing is if we have cats, we have to keep them inside. I'm not wonderfully comfortable with that just because I wouldn't want to live my whole life completely inside. And when we're dealing with cats that were previously feral, I think we get to the situation where it really can be cruel. And I'm not for a moment there saying that if you have cats and you keep them indoors, it's a terrible thing and you're doing the wrong thing and you're a bad cat person. In fact, I appreciate the fact that you're looking after birds. And it might be that you're giving them a beautiful life with loads of cuddles and loads of company from other cats and dogs and whatever. But I do think it's less than ideal, and I think we have to acknowledge it. For some cats, it's going to be a terrible life. For some, it's going to be okay, but it's less than ideal. So that's his suggestion. I am sorry that something called cat fencing isn't more widely known about. And being in the animal rights community, this is where people take animal lives very seriously. And there we have from Tony a photo of cat fencing, which I will describe for people who are listening and not watching. And that's sent to be my DawnWatch board member, Bruce Friedrich, who has cats. And his wife works for PETA. So we have people who take cat lives very seriously and take bird lives very seriously. And cat fencing works. And it's, a little bit of a hassle to put up, and it's something that people aren't used to. So it doesn't get a whole lot of play, but I wish it got more. And what cat fencing is fencing. It's about 3 feet of fence that you put on the top of your fence, tilting inwards, so that if a cat is trying to scale the fence, they have to hang upside down in order to get over it. And almost all cats won't do that. And so cat fencing works. You can let your cat out in your yard, just like you can let your dog out. But your cat won't be roaming the neighborhood, killing all the local birds. Now, of course, if you have birds in the trees in your yard, you have to make sure that you're not having bird feeders out in the cat fenced in area. You have to do things to try and to prevent your cats inside their yard from getting to birds. But that's a lot easier than when they're roaming the neighborhood. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it. I was really happy that you sent that along, because I thought, wow, I didn't even know about that. That's really cool.
Isn't it interesting that you're such a passionate cat person, passionate animal person, and you didn't even know about this? So I just would love to get the word out about it. Bruce and Alka aren't the only people who have it. I have plenty of friends who have it, and it mostly works. Every now and then a cat might get out, but it mostly works. So I'd love people to know about it. And I also wanted to mention this.
I just want to mention this because you'll see what I'm up against. This notion somehow that cats would eat you if they had the chance. Dogs would rather starve than eat their human companions. Everybody plays cats and dogs off against each other.
That's our world. That's our tribal society. Whereas I don't. I love cats and I love birds. and
Right,
dogs.
of course. I mean, of course. I don't get it. And Andrew, Andrew's full of hate one way or the other. Anyone with more than 2 cats I consider to be very weird. I hate cats, he says. Well, this is the world that cats live in. There's just so much hate directed to them. I think they're terrific. And we have, how many cats do we have? We have 4, I think. Yeah, 4 cats, and I love them. And I wish I could have 40 cats. I love cats. I wish I could have 40 dogs. I'd be like Karen Dawn with a life full of animals that need love. So anyway, but that's what I'm up against, Karen. A lot of incoming fire on cats.
Plane barking in the background here?
I cannot.
Oh, I can hardly hear you, and at the moment, I really wish I had cats.
Anyway, continue. Go ahead.
Cats.
Go ahead. We're running out of time. I just wanted to give you a little bit. The static that we get as cat people is pretty unrelenting.
And cat people really don't like to hear that cats kill birds, but they do. It's not their fault. They're beautiful animals, and we have to do better by them. And cat fencing is definitely one way. I did want to mention this whole trap, neuter, and return idea. Something that people also don't think about is that spay is so much more important than neuter. Now, the problem with spay is that it's a more invasive surgery than neutering is, I know nobody wants to hear a woman say how easy it is to just clip somebody's balls off, but the spay is a lot more invasive. But here's the thing. When you have cats in a community, the number of unspayed cats is exactly related to the number of litters you are going to get every year. Whereas if you spay 99 out of 100 cats, you're only going to get 1 litter of cats that year. Whereas as far as the neutering goes, if you neuter 99 of the male cats, you're going to have 1 very busy, happy male cat and an awful lot of litters. So we really have to concentrate on spaying more than neuter. And I don't think releasing them straight out into the environment is ideal, which is why I'd love to see cat fencing, not just in people's backyards, but into the areas that these cat colonies are in. And so I'd love to see TNR, trap, neuter, and release, become TSC, trap, spay, and contain. And I think that's the answer. It's not kill all the cats, but it's not do nothing either.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And honestly, it's yet another one that I didn't consider, that the spaying is so much more significant. But you've raised, as usual, some interesting, provocative notions, so I appreciate that.
It's always a pleasure to talk about them with you. Thank you for giving animals a voice here.
Yeah, and again, it's DawnWatch. You can find DawnWatch on Facebook. That may be the best place to find Karen Dawn's DawnWatch.
So we are revamping our website. So we're going to definitely ask people to start visiting it.
Yeah, I hope you'll get it going. I mean, I hope we get a website in this year. But we, one step at a time. But when it's revamped, you let me know, and we'll start pushing that. But there she is, DawnWatch.com. There's the website now, and you can watch the revamping going on. And she's on Facebook as well. Thanks, Karen Dawn. Appreciate it. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Karen Dawn, everybody.
Join the flock. Again next time for A Word About Animals on The Mark Thompson Show.
Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.